Florida has produced multiple hip-hop talents from the 1970s to date. From DJ Uncle Al to Kodak Black, Florida has left a mark on the rap scene. If anyone knows anything about rap music, it's that it is often accompanied by crime. Drug charges, illegal gun possession, racketeering, and even murder have been linked to hip-hop artists. Well, Florida is no exception. Despite being home to many prolific lyricists, it has also produced dangerous rappers. You'll be surprised at the crimes some of your favorite rappers have been arrested for. Here are 10 of Florida's most dangerous rappers topping our list. Kodak Black. Bill Kahan Capri, stage name Kodak Black, born on the 11th of June, 1997. The rapper's musical career has been marked with periods of success, public controversies, and legal issues. The legal troubles that continue to haunt the artist's career include rape and first-degree criminal sexual conduct. These serious allegations began with simple rule breaking when he was a young boy. When Kodak was in elementary school, he frequently got involved in brawls and breaking and entering. In the 5th grade, he was expelled from school for fighting. Later on, in middle school, Kodak would experience his first arrest. He was arrested for auto theft. This was the beginning of a long rap sheet for the artist. In 2015, he was placed thrice in a youth detention center for various violations. In October of that year, he was arrested in Pompano Beach and charged with possession of cannabis, robbery, false imprisonment of a child, and battery. The next year, in April, the rapper was arrested and charged with fleeing from officers, possessing a weapon by a convicted felon, and possessing marijuana. Kodak was arrested and charged with armed robbery and false imprisonment the following month. 3 months later, in court, Kodak entered a plea of no contest to all charges, agreeing to a 1-year term of house arrest, 5 years of probation, community service, and mandatory anger management training. Luckily, he was allowed to travel abroad for his performances. However, luck was not entirely on his side. Just before he was released, the cops discovered he had 2 outstanding criminal warrants, one for felony criminal sexual conduct and the other alleging 2 counts of misdemeanor marijuana possession. He remained in police custody. The following month, he was sentenced to 4 months in jail after pleading no contest to 2 misdemeanor drug charges. After his release from the Florida jail, he was taken to South Carolina to face sexual assault charges. He was released in December after posting a $100,000 bond. Barely 2 months later, he found himself in cuffs again, violating his probation. He was held without bond this time, and his tour was postponed. In 2018, he was behind bars again for grand theft of a firearm, weed possession, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and child neglect. He was also breaching contracts with business partners and breaking the law. In 2019, concert promoter filed a lawsuit against him over $500,000 for failing to attend concerts on 3 occasions. April 2019, Kodak was arrested for possession of a firearm and weed. 3 weeks later, he was arrested on firearms charges. He was charged with 2 counts of making a false statement on a governmental form while purchasing firearms. Even after serving an 18-month sentence, Kodak still broke laws in 2022. He was arrested and charged with trafficking oxycodone and possessing a controlled substance after cops found a bag with 31 oxycodone tablets in his car. Apart from that, his vehicle tag and driver's license were expired. The trouble rapper was then placed on house arrest. Will the rapper turn a new leaf and stay out of danger in 2023? Only time will tell. Rick Ross. Leonard William Roberts II, alias Rick Ross, needs no introduction. Having battled it out with the best in the rap industry, it's difficult to ignore his illustrious music career. From humble origins as a correctional officer to a legend in the rap game, Rick Ross has earned the respect of his fans and haters. However, he too has had multiple run-ins with law enforcement. His first encounter with the law saw him arrested on marijuana charges. Later the same year, DJ Vlad filed a lawsuit against Ross for assault and battery. He claimed that Ross planned an ambush on him for digging up his past as a correctional officer. In 2011, the rapper was again arrested for weed possession. 4 years later, Ross and his bodyguard were arrested for kidnapping and assault charges. The duo forced a landscaper into a guest house and beat him in the head with a handgun over money he owed Ross. The rapper pleaded no contest to a felony count of aggravated assault. Thus, he was sentenced as a first-time felony offender. The conviction was removed from his record after paying a fine. He also pled no contest to 5 misdemeanors, assault, battery, 2 counts of pointing a pistol at someone, and possession of less than 1 ounce of cannabis, which earned him 60 months probation. The rapper has been away from trouble since then. Trick Daddy. Maurice Samuel Young, alias Trick Daddy, is a well-known Miami-based rapper. Born in 1974, he was raised by his father, a local pimp. This is where he learned to deal cocaine on the streets. At age 15, Maurice was arrested for a firearm and drug possession. However, after his release 5 years later, he was back behind bars after being convicted and sent back to jail for attempted murder after shooting at a man during a street fight. After serving his sentence, Ted Lucas, founder of Slip and Slide Records, urged Maurice to focus on a rap career and stay out of the streets. Although he enjoyed a successful music and TV career, the rapper could not stay away from trouble. In 1993, he was sentenced to 15 months for violating probation, cocaine possession, and carrying a concealed weapon. 10 years later, he was arrested on gun charges following a dispute at a basketball game. Later that year, he was also nabbed with weed and cocaine in his pocket. Armed with the warrant, police searched his house in 2014, finding cocaine, a gun, and ammunition. 6 years later, the rapper was arrested for a DUI. However, while being processed at the station, he was charged with cocaine possession. Seems like Maurice just can't get a lucky break. YNW Melly. Jamel Maurice Demons. Born on the 1st of May, 1999, the 23-year-old hip-hop artist has had his fair share of trouble with law enforcement. The young star has also had his fair share of success in the music industry. He has collaborated with some of the biggest names in rap, such as Kanye West and Mixed Personalities and Juice WRLD and Suicidal. Raised by a financially struggling mother, Demons was forced to join the Bloods gang at a young age. The odds were stacked against him from the start. Clearly, the boy did not have any role models in his life. Also, joining a gang at a young age would surely spell doom for his future. When he was only 16, the teenager was arrested for shooting at a group of students near Vero Beach High School. This resulted in young Demons being convicted of aggravated battery, discharging a firearm in public, and 2 counts of aggravated assault. He was sentenced to several months behind bars before being released on probation. While this should have served as his lesson, Demons continued violating the law and getting into trouble. In 2017, the rapper was arrested for violating his probation. He was kept behind bars until March of the following year. Barely 2 months had passed before the talented rapper was arrested again in Fort Myers. This time, he was in possession of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, as well as weapons and ammunition. However, he was later released after bonding out. As if he had not learned his lesson, the rapper was again arrested in possession of weed in January of 2019. The next month would prove a turning point in the rapper's life and music career. On the 12th of February 2019, news broke out that Demons had been arrested in connection to 2 of his friends, Anthony Williams, alias YNW Sack Chaser, and Chris Thomas, alias YNW Juvie. The 2 were aged 21 and 20 respectively, and they had been close friends with Demons. Murdered on the 21st of October 2018, it was widely believed that it was a drive-by shooting as one of the victims' friends, YNW Bortland, drove the pair to the hospital. However, months of investigation led the cops to believe that Demons was responsible for his friend's death and that Bortland helped him cover up the crime. The pair were arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The police statement read, "The victims, Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr., were killed on 10/26/2018. The investigation, supported by forensic evidence, has concluded that Demons shot and killed Williams and Thomas Jr., and that Demons and Henry staged the crime scene to resemble the drive-by shooting." The rapper took to Instagram to prove his innocence through a post that read, "To all my fans and supporters, no, I did not get locked up in Washington, but I am turning myself in today. I want you guys to know I love you, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. A couple months ago, I lost 2 of my brothers by violence, and now the system wants to find justice. Unfortunately, a lot of rumors and lies are being said, but no worries. God is with me and my brother YNW Bortland. And we want y'all to remember it's a YNW family. I love you. I love you, YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie. Hashtag free us." The cops claimed that they had forensic evidence that proved Demons pulled the trigger after determining that neither victim was shot from outside, but rather from inside the car, disproving the drive-by account. According to the police's version of events, Demons murdered his friends and then rode around with their bodies before coming up with the cover story. Bortland drove the bodies to the hospital and gave the drive-by account to the doctors. Shell casings found inside the car were evidence for their version of events. With the heap of evidence against him, Florida State Attorney's Office announced its intention to seek the death penalty for the case. According to the authorities, they could prove that Demons murdered his friends for financial gain. The rapper's woes did not stop there. He was also named as a suspect in the shooting death of Deputy Gary Chambliss. According to a witness, Demon and Bortland were standing with a group of men who chucked a bottle at a passing car. An occupant in the vehicle fired a weapon at the group, and one of the rappers allegedly returned fire. Standing 170 yards away, Chambliss was hit with a stray bullet and died. YNW Melly's fate is now in the court's hands.
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, regarded as one of the most influential hip-hop artists of his generation and often cited as one of the greatest rappers of all time, Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., alias Lil Wayne, began his career in 1995 at 12 years. Fellow rapper Birdman saw something special in young Lil Wayne and signed him to his label, Cash Money Records, as the youngest member of the label. Lil Wayne went on to become the flagship artist of Cash Money Records before ending his association with the company in June 2018 after disagreements with Birdman. The artist has received numerous awards during his career and broken multiple sales records. Although the Young Money founder is only 5'5", his small frame, which is uncharacteristic of rappers from his era, shouldn't fool anyone. He has had multiple run-ins with the law. July 2007 would see Lil Wayne lock heads with the authorities for the first time. He was arrested in New York City following a performance at the Beacon Theater. According to police reports, the rapper was initially arrested after he was found smoking weed near his tour bus. After taking him into custody, cops found a pistol in a bag near him that was registered to his manager. He ended up being charged with criminal possession of a weapon and marijuana. Lil Wayne received a 1-year sentence and was locked up in Rikers Island. Being his first time behind bars, the experience took a toll. On his last day at the prison, he wrote, "I've unfortunately seen a lot of spirits get broken in this hellhole. I don't wish jail on anybody." Many people dispute this since he seemed to live a pretty good life while locked up. During his time in Rikers Island, the rapper was caught in possession of contraband that included an MP3 player, a charger, and headphones. Additionally, he only served 8 months of his 1-year sentence as he was released on good behavior. Lil Wayne's drug problem continued amidst his gun possession case, and he found himself in cuffs again after Border Patrol agents found weed, cocaine, and ecstasy in his tour bus. The rapper was charged with 4 felonies, including possession of narcotic drug for sale and possession of dangerous drugs. Lil Wayne pleaded guilty to the charges, and as part of the plea deal, he was able to serve 36 months of probation. The gun possession case seemed to have helped the rapper change his ways as a decade passed before he got into trouble again. In 2020, the rapper was arrested and charged with illegally carrying a loaded handgun in December while traveling from California to South Florida via a private plane. An anonymous tipper informed police, who arrested the rapper upon landing. Apart from the gun, the authorities also uncovered personal use amounts of cocaine, ecstasy, and oxycodone. Due to his previous case involving a gun, he was a convicted felon and was barred from possessing such weapons. As such, he was facing up to 10 years behind bars if found guilty. Lil Wayne pled guilty to the charges, meaning that the 10 years in jail were a possibility. However, his saving grace came from the most unlikely source: former President Donald Trump. On his last day in office, Donald Trump granted a full pardon to Lil Wayne, allowing the Florida rapper to walk free. Wayne had, throughout the 2020 presidential election, endorsed Trump for president despite backlash from some fans. He posed for pictures with the president and praised him for listening to their problems and promising to work for them. That would mark his encounters with the law, as he has kept out of trouble from then. But apart from his criminal charges, he has also been faced with other legal battles, especially regarding his music. The rapper has been sued multiple times for copyright infringement, unfair competition, and unpaid royalties. Although the rapper does not have the criminal profile like other rappers in his era, drugs and guns turned him into a criminal who almost served a decade behind bars. Nardo Wick. Horace Bernard Walls III, alias Nardo Wick, is currently signed to Flawless Entertainment and RCA Records. The rapper, who was born in 2001, is well known for his record Who Wants Smoke. The single propelled the young rapper to fame, as he was soon noticed by famous artists such as 21 Savage, G Herbo, and Lil Durk, who ended up making the remix to his hit single. The record debuted at number 17 on the US Billboard's Hot 100 and earned a platinum certificate. Nardo Wick has been fortunate enough to achieve fame and success at an early age. However, he has had encounters with the cops. It is important to note that Nardo has never been arraigned in court. So why is he on this list? The answer to that will show why he is indeed among Florida's most dangerous rappers. In August 2021, Nardo Wick locked heads with the cops for the first time in Duval. In the video, which went viral, Nardo and 2 of his friends are seen lying face down on the ground in handcuffs as US Marshals searched them. DJ Academics was quick to reveal that the young rapper had been arrested on concealed weapons charges. Court documents showed that the arrest was related to a 2020 case. A few months later, the rapper appeared in an episode of the Big Facts podcast where he cleared the air regarding his arrest. According to him, cops were looking for his brother who was wanted for murder. They was coming for him, but we was leaving the hotel. We were coming to Atlanta and we were getting in the car with our bags and they all hopped out on us. But it was only for him and they weren't even supposed to with me. However, he did admit that he was carrying a gun. The rapper's charges were dropped since they had been illegally detained. During the podcast, the rapper revealed something sinister about himself and why he is
dangerous. Nardo revealed that for him, working a 9-5 job was torture and that he'd rather rob people than get a 9-5 job. For anyone to say this with a straight face and no remorse is shocking. According to him, it didn't make sense to work for days in a 9-5 job to get the same amount of money one would get in a day from robbing people. Fans accused him of glamorizing and encouraging crime. The heat was apparently so strong, Nardo felt compelled to issue a statement on social media, insisting he was not trying to influence anyone to rob people as a way to make a living. Nardo took to Instagram where he posted saying, "They asked a question about my past and I answered it. That's what I was doing when I was 15, 16 years old, a product of my environment. My mama had just come home from prison and it was a hard time for us and we ain't have nothing. I would never tell or try to convince a young black man or anyone period to crash out. I changed my life and started taking rapping serious because I knew that I wouldn't make it if I kept doing what I was doing." Despite his post, many still feel that if things ever went south in his music career, he would resort to crime, making him a dangerous individual.
XXXTentacion. The late José Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy, professionally known as XXXTentacion, will always be remembered as a prolific rapper who died before fulfilling his full potential. Shot and killed in a robbery, the talented rapper and singer-songwriter had conquered much of the hip-hop industry by age 20. His depression and alienation-themed music had helped him cultivate a cult-like following. Despite his talent and achievements, he still ran into trouble with the law at a young age. When he was 6 years old, young Onfroy allegedly tried to stab a man who attempted to rob his mother. This led to him being put in a youth program. Later, he was kicked out of the school choir for attacking a fellow student. Physical altercations became frequent, leading to his expulsion from Margate Middle School. He eventually dropped out of school altogether. It did not take long for the teenager to find his way to juvenile detention after he was convicted of gun possession charges. Even after he was released in 2013, the young man continued a life of crime with fellow rapper Ski Mask the Slump God, where they committed multiple home invasions. The law finally caught up with him in 2015 when he was charged with robbery, home invasion, and aggravated battery. Things continued to get worse for the rapper as it was alleged that he had threatened his then girlfriend in late May 2016. Mid-July of the same year, the rapper allegedly kicked, punched, tackled, and stomped on his ex-girlfriend. He threatened to cut out her tongue because he heard her singing another artist's song. On a later date, he would also assault her after finding out that she had cheated on him. On the 6th of October 2016, Triple X threatened to kill his then pregnant ex-girlfriend. He also physically assaulted her. He then took her to an apartment, took her phone, and locked her in her bedroom for 2 days before she managed to escape and call the cops. The artist was then arrested and charged with aggravated battery of a pregnant woman, domestic battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, and witness tampering. He pleaded not guilty but was detained for violating his house arrest agreement. The rapper could be heard admitting to the crime in leaked voice recordings. "I put my source of happiness in another person, which was a mistake initially, right? But she fell through on every occasion until now. Until I started fucking her up, bruh. Now she's scared. That girl is scared for her life." Which I understand. Although the rapper seemed remorseful in the recordings, his actions remain inexcusable. Despite this, his fans still enjoy his music even after his passing. Hot Boy. Javari Latrell Walker, born on the 13th of June 2000, the Orlando rapper is professionally known as Hot Boy. Having tasted success when only 20 years old through his breakout single, Don't Need Time, the rapper has recently mixed himself in with the wrong crowd and could end up in jail for a long time. Javari started his music career at 7 and started releasing music with his mother's support in 2016. Since he grew up in the digital era, YouTube and SoundCloud were his go-to platforms. However, just as he started to turn heads in the industry, he was arrested for breaking and entering. From 2016 to 2018, young Javari was forced to serve 2 years in juvenile detention as punishment. During this time, he decided to concentrate on his music career and worked on his craft. Specifically, he developed his songwriting skills. After his release, Javari began releasing music he had composed while in juvenile. One of the songs was Don't Need Time, which has garnered over 90 million views on YouTube. The record was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America. This earned him a feature with Lil Baby. In 2020, the young rapper became popular for releasing records that addressed problems facing the African American community. During that time, the George Floyd protests had erupted, and his music served as a release for the black community. However, as it is with most young rap stars, he soon found himself in trouble with the law. A common mistake that young rappers make is joining a criminal gang. In most cases, it never ends well, jail or a body bag. Javari was entangled with the Orange County-based gang 438 gang. The gang was in direct conflict with the Army gang. The resulting violence between the two rival gangs resulted in the death of 2 boys, aged 3 and 14. This led to the FBI getting involved. The feds, in collaboration with the Orange County Sheriff's Office and Orlando Police Department, launched Operation X-Force, which focused on ending the violence caused by the two gangs. Unfortunately, Hot Boy was one of the 34 people indicted in the operation and faces drug trafficking or racketeering-related charges. The rapper turned himself in after notifying his fans via an Instagram post where he wrote, "I turned myself in tonight." The operation recovered 15 guns, some used in drive-by shootings that led to innocent deaths. While beef is seen as normal in hip-hop, it is always sad when it escalates to violence. Not only are innocent people killed, but also the rappers involved experience a dip in their musical careers. The young rapper's career seemed to have stalled as he is being held on $750,000 bail and doesn't have a projected release date yet. Glock 9. Jaquavius Denard Smith, alias Glock 9. The rapper was born in 2000 and has achieved impressive milestones, including signing for Birdman's label Cash Money. As has been a trend with young hip-hop superstars, the rapper has found himself in trouble with the law on multiple occasions, ultimately derailing his musical career. His encounters with law enforcement began when he was 15 years old. He was arrested in connection to a shooting that left a 17-year-old hospitalized. He was charged with trespassing, unlawful discharge of a firearm, and aggravated battery with a firearm. 3 years later, in 2018, the rapper was arrested for grand theft in the 3rd degree, possession of a concealed weapon by a convicted delinquent, and possession of weed. The following year, he was still charged with illegal firearm possession and possession of weed. In 2020, Smith was arrested and charged with carrying a concealed weapon. However, a few months later, the crimes worsened, as he was charged with multiple counts of attempted 2nd-degree murder. In June 2021, the rapper was charged with racketeering and conspiracy to commit racketeering and was sentenced to 7 years after pleading guilty to possession of unregistered firearms and identity theft charges. While many rappers have saved their careers after spending time behind bars, fans can only hope that the once rising star can leave a life of crime behind him and concentrate on his music. Bobby Shmurda. Akil Jean Pollard, alias Bobby Shmurda. Born in Miami in 1994, the rapper is considered among the pioneers of Brooklyn drill music. The success of his 2014 hit single, Hot, opened the door to a fruitful music career. However, multiple arrests cut short that dream in the same year. June 3rd, Bobby was arrested and charged with felony criminal possession of a weapon. December 17th, 15 people were arrested and charged with reckless endangerment, conspiracy to commit murder, and drug and gun possession. Bobby was among them. He pleaded not guilty and was held on $2 million bail. In July 2015, Bobby and his girlfriend were caught smuggling a knife into Rikers Island jail. They both pleaded not guilty. As part of a plea deal, Bobby pleaded guilty to 1 count of weapons possession and 1 count of 3rd-degree conspiracy. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Bobby Shmurda is now out of prison and is actively pursuing his music career. Although he does not have a long rap sheet, the authorities were keen to get him and his crew behind bars, making him extremely dangerous. From sexual assault to murder charges, Florida-born rappers are not to be messed with. No wonder they are often in and out of the slammer. While some have recovered their musical careers, others have faded into oblivion. All in all, it's important to stay out of trouble. Now, I need you to stay out of trouble and click the boxes on your screen for more content.